Welcome to Marvel Mondays. I am Mike.
And I am Brandon.
Trying something new for this episode. If we like it, we'll keep doing it. If not, we'll keep working at it. So, how's your week? Just started, but yeah.
Yeah. A lot better after the DareDevil finale because I feel like we got some of the questions answered there, and now moving on to Punisher.
Yeah. So I want to say it was good. Just overall, I think it was good. I felt like a lot of it was too predictable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought there were parts of it that were. I liked it. I liked where they went with it, but I thought parts of it were too predictable.
There wasn't a lot of twists.
Yeah. It's like, okay, this is, and some of that has to do with like the leaks, like the photo that came out of Daredevil or I always say that, but of Matt in the prison, garb and that, so okay, we knew he was going to be in jail at the end of it. But yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, what'd you like?
Yeah, I liked a lot of it. I think that there were points throughout it. There was a funny moment at I guess as always, spoilers.
Right.
There was a funny moment as Matt was walking through prison, and you had all of the anti-vigilante task force walking past him, and they're all looking at him.
Yeah.
That I was like, they're making faces at a blind man.
Yeah, right. Well,
They're like,
that's a good point.
like they weren't saying anything to
Right.
the point of where he would be able to hear them or whatever. They were just looking at him, and I thought that was a funny moment.
Well, I noticed too the guy who was, and I don't remember the character's name, but the one who basically turned on the rest of them, like at the end there, when he was walking towards him, he just did a little like nod at him. But and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. He's like saying, okay, I'm, props, whatever. But then I realized, wait a minute, but it's a blind guy, so you can't see that you're nodding at him.
Yeah. I think not a big surprise, but I do like that they had Luke Cage come in at the end there.
Yeah. I liked that too.
And I take it that the way I understood it was at the end, Bullseye's going to work for Mr. Charles.
Mr. Charles, yeah. Well, yeah, he basically...
So he's replacing Luke Cage almost.
Exactly, yeah. So
but I
that's
wonder,
going to be
they're saying that he has to do with Val, so I'm wondering what that is that he has to do with Val. Like, what are they doing that they're getting these, what are essentially, like, to use the Spider-Man term, friendly neighborhood heroes, right? The neighborhood,
right?
Like the New York specific heroes. What are they doing, taking those guys and taking them out that they can't send any other heroes?
I think it's just that they're looking for enhanced people, So they're wherever, excuse me, wherever they can get enhanced people for whatever kind of, I think it's like some special ops, like black ops type things that they're doing. That
it makes me wonder if they'll tie it into the mutant, that whole storyline in the future.
Could be.
That'll be part.
That's a good point. There's got to be something that they have them off doing, right? That they're looking for these people for. So that's a really good point. And I wonder, will that pay off at some point, or will it be like a lot of the things that have gone on in some of the movies and series in the past, where maybe they had a story plan that they could tie it into, but that never came to fruition. Yeah.
So how do you see this tying into Punisher? Because I'd have to rewatch to see how I think it ties into it.
I think it might not at all. I honestly, because I every kind of version of the Punisher like trailer, the clips that I've seen, like it looks like this is going to just be a Frank Castle story. It's not going to be necessarily tied to anything else other than potentially Brand New Day.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the end of it, there's gonna be something that leads into Brand New Day. And what I'm hoping they do is explain how Frank Castle and Peter Parker know each other all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
At
Mm-hmm.
least in some way explain that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, although, based on the way that the legality of it works, uh, I don't think you're gonna see Tom Holland show up in the Punisher one shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even in passing, they have to mention, something about Spider-Man or something related to that. And then
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was a scene that I saw, but I don't know if it was from the Punisher special or if it was from Brand New Day of, Frank Castle and the whatever the Sadie Sink character is, um, you know, and I there was one thing I saw that suggested that was from the Punisher one shot. So does she show up in that,
And
and
that's the
that's how they introduce
connection.
her, and there's the tie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only tie I could see from Daredevil to Punisher, um, would be that there's not that task force anymore. So that's
Right.
why that's why Frank Castle is back.
Right. True.
Essentially, he's not having
True.
to be in hiding or wherever he was.
Right. Right. It's also kind of in a way from a storyline standpoint disappointing because you know Frank Castle being who he is, there's a bunch of guys walking around with his emblem on their
Hmm.
uniforms that are just like bad dudes. They're not doing the right things. And he's just now again, maybe they'll explain that. Maybe they'll show where he's been, while all that was going on. I'm assuming they're going to.
Hmm.
Um, but the other thing I think that's interesting is there's like more rumors coming out now that Matt Murdock is going to be in, or Daredevil more than likely is going to be in Brand New Day.
Hmm.
Um, and it's the whole thing with that prison scene, where he's fighting the Hand in that prison scene, and the people who've suggested that the way that one shot looks, it doesn't look right. It looks like there should
Some
be
of the
like.
hand is going towards somebody else.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing that from No Way Home, where in the trailer it just showed one
Hmm.
Spider-Man fighting, Sandman and the Lizard and who else? Doc Ock, I guess.
Hmm.
No, it wasn't Doc Ock, but
Electro.
Electro, right? Um, and then when the movie actually came out, it was all three Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of suggestion that it's something like that. And I saw there've been a few interviews. There was another one recently with Charlie Cox who plays Daredevil, asking him, "Hey, are you going to be in?" And of course, he's denying it because that's what they always do when they want
Yeah.
something to stay a surprise like that. So I
The
don't
thing
think
that
we'll.
throws me off with that though would be how does it tie in then to season three? Because if he's still in jail, unless it's
Yeah,
that he helps during the jail fight, and then like he can't just leave.
right,
They know that Daredevil was arrested. They know that Daredevil was in jail, so he
right,
helped, but
right.
has to
But
stay.
yeah, but has to go back. Yeah, that could be too. Yeah. I'm also wondering from a timing standpoint, like, there's going to be the events of Doomsday, and that
Hmm.
comes out in December. From a timing standpoint, season 3 of Daredevil comes
That's
out in
true.
like May of next year. So, you know, and some of the stuff I'm reading about Doomsday, you know, it's going to be like the multiverse is all messed
Crumbling, yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So how do you then go back to and there's Matt Murdock sitting in prison in New York. That's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah,
that's
that's
gonna be a
true.
little weird.
Yeah.
So
But he can't
we'll
be in jail
see.
the entire time, so maybe that's part of the thing too. Maybe he gets broken out by Spider-Man and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have a few episodes where he's in jail and then
Right.
break out from his perspective. I don't know.
Yeah. And then the other thing that's pretty much been confirmed for season 3 of Daredevil Born Again is that Luke Cage and Iron Fist are going to be in that as well, which I'm interested to see with that because in the Iron Fist Netflix series, at the end of it, like he wasn't Iron Fist anymore. He still had some of the Iron Fist powers, but he had passed it on to someone else.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I'm interested to see how that's all gonna play out, or if they're going to just deny that season 2 of that ever happened, and that's not really what happened, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
but it's pretty much they're saying like it's a redo of the Defenders, in season 3 of Daredevil
mhm.
Born Again.
I'm
So
surprised they wouldn't just do their own series unless they
right,
just don't want to deal with having to set up all the characters again.
yeah,
Um, so inserting them just into Daredevil Born Again
yeah,
is a like quick, easy way.
yeah. Well, it's also a good way to reintroduce the characters if they did want to put them into their own
Yeah.
series, because there was a lot of things that I had read like about the Iron Fist character, because apparently people that wasn't that well received when it came out. um but there was stuff that I had read that they were going to do like a full reboot of
Mhm.
that series, that character. um but they're bringing him back. It's the same actor in that played him in the
Mhm.
series, so they
Be
decided not to
testing
do that, I
testing
guess.
the waters to do like a soft reboot of
Maybe.
that he didn't give away his powers, like you said, and
Yeah.
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 Speaking of season three, what do you think of for Fisk? Because they show him at the end there where he's just, you know,
Standing on a
relaxing on the
beach.
beach,
Yeah.
having, not going into, I mean, I guess seemingly he's in hiding, but
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the leaks for season three, he's back in New York looking very, almost like
Yeah.
you said, almost homeless.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So,
I was thinking about that. So he's got a beard, he's dressed in a long, trench coat, he's got a beanie cap on.
hmm,
He could be that could be him going back into New York, but trying to disguise himself,
hmm,
so people
hmm,
don't recognize him. Um,
hmm. Yeah, because he does have. Right, that is the when they came, they did essentially put a like warrant for his arrest, right?
well, no, they
Before.
said they said they wouldn't arrest him if he just left New York. They wouldn't
Hmm.
do any of that stuff. He just had to leave New York and never come back.
Yeah.
So,
So essentially, him coming back though would be
yeah,
he
then they
has to
might
come
then
in.
they
He
might
has to
arrest
come
him.
in a disguise.
Yeah. It is kind of funny though, because you look at some of the stuff, like especially at the end of that was just brutal, what he did to the people that were all coming in the Daredevil masks and that. And
Hmm.
so the one guy, I mean the first one, he just hit him with one punch and he killed the guy, with
Hmm.
one punch, and all of that, and you're like, really? And then you'd go, it's okay, we're not going to prosecute, you just got to leave. Like,
Hmm.
mm,
Imagine that in real life.
yeah, yeah. And I
Somebody
mean,
somebody
you're
goes
like
on a
you
killing spree, and you're just like, all right, if you leave the
yeah.
city, we won't we
Yeah,
won't do
yeah,
anything. You're just not
yeah,
allowed back.
yeah. Because like I don't know how many people in that, in that courthouse he killed there, and they're just like,
Yeah.
okay, leave, but don't come back. Which
Yeah.
that kind of feels weird, because part of the whole thing that like that Matt and Karen and all that are fighting for in that is that Fisk has to be put to justice, that
Hmm.
doesn't feel like justice, that
Yeah.
Matt's in prison and he's just, he's standing on a beach, that
Yeah.
just doesn't feel like they achieved their goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of the thing
And
that I
then,
think will be interesting with Matt in jail is that he is surrounded by that task force
hmm
since they were in that same jail. So I
right.
wonder if that will be sort of explored. The one thing
Yeah,
that I was
maybe.
hoping to see was if you could see, like, is it in the same jail that Scorpion was in at the
Oh,
end of
right.
Homecoming? Because
Right.
if like, I don't think they showed the actual jail that like prison that he was put into.
hmm
But that
hmm
would have been a quick, easy check to see is he going to be, and maybe they didn't because of that. They didn't want it to be that easy to be able to tell.
That's a
But
good point. I didn't even think of that. The one that they showed him talking to a vulture in the
hmm,
hallway, and that, yeah. Yeah, I
hmm,
didn't even think of that. And then there's that whole weird thing though with the vulture character, with the Michael Keaton character, how somehow they transferred that that
oh yeah, into
over to
Morbius.
into the Morbius universe, I guess, and he stayed there.
Yeah.
Like
He
that
was
just
the one guy who didn't get to go back to his
get
universe,
get to
I
go back.
guess.
That maybe that's why there's going to be an incursion. It's actually his fault that there's an
Yeah.
incursion.
Yeah.
Like that was just and supposedly I had seen a thing with Michael Keaton after he filmed that scene that he had like no idea what was going on with that. He's like, I can't even
They just
understand this, like what
yeah,
they're
they just
doing
told
here.
him to come back to play a character, and he was just like,
Yeah,
all right, sure.
yeah, yeah. And it just that one line he had where he goes, I don't know how I got here, but I'm sure it has something to do with Spider-Man. Something like that. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
crazy assumption, but all right.
yeah, yeah. And also because he got sent to a different universe, did he also forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man?
Yeah,
You
but
know?
it's weird because yeah, like Morbius never interacted with Spider-Man.
No, no, nobody
Yeah, nobody in that
in that
universe.
because correct me if I'm well, we're going a little off path here, but
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. The Morbius story takes place in the same universe as wow, I just
Venom.
totally lost my yeah, Venom, right?
I have no idea
I
what the Sony
well
ones are doing. As far as I understood it, I thought they were all in separate universes.
but there's that one scene in Morbius where he's he's transformed into Morbius and he says to one guy
Oh
and
yeah,
I am Venom and he says no just kidding I'm what Dr. Michael Morbius or whatever it is.
yeah. So that would have to be in the same one. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good point.
yeah. So they never interacted though, so it makes it some of that stuff is just like I don't think they do one
Well,
thing
you
that
know
the
why they make
MCU did
those
a great
movies, right?
job. Why?
It's because they have to keep making Spider-Man movies
Oh, to keep the
to
characters.
keep the character. Yeah. It doesn't always have to include Spider-Man, which is why they made
I see.
what was that one? Spider-Woman or whatever?
Madam Web.
Madam Web.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tried to watch that and I got about a third of the way through and I saw why it didn't do very well because I was like, I couldn't even like
Hmm.
figure out what was happening. Like it was just, I don't know, it wasn't good. Wasn't good.
Yeah. But now we've
So,
gotten way off topic. So we'll pull
yeah,
it back with
right,
Brand New Day. Do you think
right.
that Daredevil does show up? You think that
I,
that's like
I think there's,
if you were to put the percentage chance, what do you think it is that he shows up?
I would say a 68% chance. I think it's better than 50% chance that he does show up.
Hmm.
Um, because that one scene just looks so much like what they did in No Way Home. It looks
Hmm.
so much like it. And the only characters that would make sense to see in I mean it could be, right, that it's that the other characters are Punisher and whoever Sadie Sink is
Yeah.
playing,
So I don't think it's
Jean
Punisher.
Grey.
They wouldn't have a problem
Yeah,
showing Punisher if he
right,
was the one because he was already in it. I
right.
think if it's not Daredevil, it's a good chance that it's Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, like
Yeah.
maybe full Phoenix Force
Yeah. Yeah,
in
that
that
could be.
moment, something
That
like
could
that. That
be.
they just don't want to give that away.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's got to be something that they want to be a secret, right?
yeah, but
Um,
the fact that it's in a jail and yeah, like
yeah,
it just seems like it's too much of a coincidence to not
yeah.
happen.
It could also be Hulk because there's stuff that they're saying about Hulk is that he's full Savage Hulk in this. He's
Hmm.
not. It's definitely not. Smart Hulk. Um, so it
But
could be that.
Would Hulk need help taking on the hand?
Would he need help? No, but might he be there helping Peter? Helping
That's true.
Spider-Man. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
That's true.
So yeah, I don't know. We're gonna. How long do we have till that comes out?
I think that's end of mid to end of July that
And
comes out.
we got a bit.
Yeah.
We got a bit. That's gonna feel the time between the end. I think of the Punisher
Hmm.
thing and that is gonna feel really long. I think it's gonna
Yeah.
feel really long
I
because
feel like
I think there's
that
gonna be
gap
so
is
much
where
build
we'll
up.
get. I think that gap is where we'll get more Doomsday stuff. I feel
Yeah,
like
maybe.
in that moment, that's when they'll start releasing stuff to keep the momentum going
Yeah,
into Spider-Man and then into Doomsday.
Yeah, that could be. I've also heard some rumors that there's going to be another Spider-Man trailer coming out
Mm.
that's like a little shows a little bit different scenes. So we'll I'll be interested to see that. One thing we didn't touch on Daredevil is the Muse character kind
Yeah.
of, you know, embracing the Muse persona. So that's going to be interesting to see what
So
that looks like in season three.
did you catch the thing of when she put the mask on, she had that whole speech in the courtroom about
Right.
people who wear the mask and everything. And she puts the mask on and then she looks in the mirror and it's just her with
Yeah,
no
she sees
mask.
her face and not
Yeah,
her
while
face with
wearing.
the mask. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that that was a nice touch.
Yeah, yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
But I wonder if she'll be back in season three. It kind of seems like it'll be weird to revisit that character. Like I
Mm.
don't think
I
that she can, it can be the villain in it
yeah, I don't think
because it.
from the stuff I read, she's not going to be the main villain, but she will
Mhm.
be like a kind of,
Side
ancillary
villain thing. Yeah,
villain, if you know what I mean. But I don't
yeah.
think they said, yeah, they said something about like other, because I don't think it's going to be Fisk. It's not going to be him.
Hmm.
Uh, but they said like other villains will be, and obviously I don't think it'll be the Hand because you
Hmm.
know they're I'm assuming they're going to be like taken care of in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I keep wanting to say something with the word
Home.
home in it. Brand
Yeah.
new home.
It wouldn't be the worst. It wouldn't be the worst if he is in a new home.
Yeah. And he does have a brand new home because he's living in that apartment from
Yeah,
the
that's
end
what I mean.
of No Way Home. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so but there's a lot coming up. And I think maybe in that break between the end of Punisher and unless there's like trailers and stuff coming out every week to talk about, I think maybe we'll start talking about some of the other stuff, some of the stuff we
Hmm.
haven't talked about. At some point, I think depending on what's going on, I'd like us to do like where we're both watching, some of the old series, maybe even watching something like Agents of Shield, which I know you've never watched, but I've watched like multiple times.
Hmm.
Um, and just talk about those and that how all that fits in. It's going to be very interesting to me now with them um, embracing the old Netflix like street level heroes as part of the MCU. How they're going to tie that into these bigger multiverse related
Hmm.
movies and how they're going to keep all of that
Yeah. I think
kind of
it'll be
still moving.
interesting, like you said, how they try to tie that in at a time when it's seemingly being torn down in Doomsday.
Yeah, yeah. Like we'll see what happens. We'll see
Yeah.
what they come up with. That's because the one thing that I've read that these are potential spoilers, but nobody knows yet. So, um, with like the way that Doomsday is going to end is basically like the incursion is going to be happening.
Hmm.
So if
Yeah,
we
I've heard
end
things saying
Doomsday like
it
that,
ends with Battle World essentially,
yeah,
which
yeah.
would make sense
So
it going into Secret War. So,
yeah. So how do
and
we
do
have
those characters come into it? Do you have Daredevil and Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, all of those street level
right,
show up in Doomsday?
right,
Like, where do they fit into that? And
right.
yeah,
Oh,
if they
the
don't, then what does
yeah,
their story look like in their TV series?
right,
I think
right.
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's just it's tough to hold on to the street level stuff if they're like it would be like if you had something like the story in this season of Daredevil going on while Thanos was doing the snap.
Yeah.
How do you know how do you keep those two in line and keep I mean that was part of the problem, right? To not to completely switch gears, but part of the problem that happened with Agents of Shield is that when we got to the time frame where all of the stuff from Infinity War and Endgame was going on, that the series itself had been like loosely tied to the MCU. When the events of Civil War were going on, it impacted the storyline.
Didn't Fury even show up in a couple episodes
Yeah,
for Agents
he
of
showed
Shield
up.
early on?
Maria Hill showed up in it.
Hmm.
Even Lady Sif from from Asgard showed up in it. Um, but and like the whole season with I'm sorry, Winter Soldier, where they discovered that Shield was actually infested with Hydra, like that was a primary part of the storyline of one of the season. So it was really tied to the
Hmm.
movies for a while there.
Hmm.
Um, and even the storyline with Age of Ultron, like that was tied into it too. But then when you got down to that point with Infinity War, where there was these big major things going on, it was like the tie was just broken. They went all off on their own route. They didn't even there was it was actually kind of funny because the season that was going on when Infinity War came out, it was before Infinity War was released when that series, the end of that season was,
Hmm.
and they like loosely referenced whatever was going on because the movie wasn't out yet. So like I think the people who were making the Agents of Shield series didn't even like know what was going to happen in Infinity War. So they
Hmm.
they just made this like loose reference to, wow, have you seen this crazy stuff that's going on in New York? And
Hmm.
that was it. Like that was the only reference to the stuff that happened in
Yeah,
Infinity War.
yeah. That
So it
is
was
just
kind of
well, because like that, and that's the issue though when you take these TV shows and you don't necessarily like keep or when you keep the secrets the way that they try to with the
right,
big events, is that these TV shows they really don't care about
right,
like doing any of that. And I guess maybe it's better now that they're having all of that stuff, not because that stuff was MCU, I guess, but that it seems like it's under tighter control under the MCU. Is that hopefully
yeah,
they're planning it out?
right. You'd hope. The other funny one was at the very end of Agents of Shield in the last season. I forget if it was season 7 or 8. I forget how many seasons there were, but they ended up referencing the quantum realm and using the
Mm-hmm.
quantum realm for time travel because that whole last season was the storyline was all about time travel.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of funny too because it was like they tried to kind of pull it back into there, even though the whole thing of Infinity War and the snap didn't impact like that
Yeah,
series at all. So that was
yeah.
just interesting.
See,
So yeah,
one thing though is something like in Thunderbolts, you had the Void, right? That affected New York. Yet you don't really see that mentioned anywhere, like in Daredevil or anything.
true,
That would be a
true,
pretty traumatic event for me if, you just
true.
got sucked into that and like there's
Well,
no
that
sort of
that might have been in like downtown Manhattan, and
true, it didn't
Daredevil
reach
is Hell's
everyone, I
Kitchen,
guess.
so
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
it's like it's a different whole other borough.
Yeah. I wonder though, for going back to Punisher, I wonder if they'll do something similar to when Fisk was elected mayor. He made that comment where it was like vigilantes dressed in a spider suit or
Yeah,
something like that, saying Spider-Man without saying Spider-Man for the legality of it.
right,
I wonder if they'll do something like that to have it be that that's how he knows
right,
Spider-Man, or
right.
I wonder if they just got special permission from Sony to put it
Maybe
because the
because that series
tie-in.
is like directly tied into the movie. Maybe they did. That could be. That I'm see now I'm anxious to see that, and guess what? We get to see that tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah,
So exciting stuff.
yeah,
I feel like we should do a special episode after that to talk about it, like on Wednesday, but that would be too many. That would be way too many episodes in one week. So you'll have to wait until what is it, Monday the 18th to get
yeah.
our storyline of that or our
It's
opinion
probably
on
better
that.
anyway.
Yeah.
Avoid the spoilers for everyone as much as possible.
Also true. Yeah, because for any of that stuff, if you haven't seen it by the time this episode, gets released, it's your own fault.
Yeah,
It's on you.
you
The
probably
spoiler
remember the
is your fault.
spoilers anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, I'm excited for Punisher and for Spider-Man and for Doomsday and everything to come after that. I'm already seeing stuff about Secret Wars too, which is going to be cool.
Hmm.
So, yep, lots of stuff
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, a lot coming.
Yep. So make sure you like and subscribe so you can get all our updates and our rumors that we hear. Thanks for checking us out.
Thanks, everyone.